I chose Black Studies because the truth about the Black experience in America and throughout the world warrants respect and recognition. And throughout my academic career, I felt that there was a gap when it came to Black stories, Black narratives, Black culture.
In the American school system, K through 12, we don't really go into depth about Black American history.
When we think about classical education, it's been primarily focused on Western ideas and Western thought, European philosophy, but Black Studies comes at it from a different perspective. There's other kinds of people in the world. They've had different experiences. They have different histories.
We don't learn this in schools. Like, I remember my first Black Studies class. I was sitting there on fire. Like, I was so mad. I'm like, so no one was gonna tell us that any of this happened?
When you're logically looking at a problem, you want to start at the beginning. And I think a lot of what this program does is it challenges your perception of how you learned history. It challenges the things that you think are just fact.
American history, you kind of have to know about it in its entirety. That includes the Black perspective.
It's like, maybe we're not getting the full story. And so because we're not getting the full story, maybe we're not getting an accurate look at the problem and how we got here. And that's why we can't find a viable solution.
I think when you talk about why Black Studies, I think the most important piece is understanding the contributions that African-descended people have made to the world. When we start to think about whose story gets told, the story becomes more myth-making than it is reality. So Black Studies is saying, well, let's get rid of the myth-making and now let's get to the business of that contribution. So it's providing folks with a different perspective.
Black Studies gave me the context to really speak truth to what was happening in different experiences in my life as like a Black woman. I think that it also just gave me more pride and joy just to like hear more about how Black folks were creating and loving and learning all throughout oppression and be imaginative under those circumstances.
The struggles that certain communities face, if you're not a student of color and you didn't have exposure to that, then you could be not aware of how prevalent the issues are and how long-term they've been going on.
The problem is systemic issues. The problem is so much bigger than what you think it is. And I think that kind of just opens up your perspective.
UIC is unique because it's in the city of Chicago. Many of our courses deal with the history of the city, and the city itself has been the host to a number of Black cultural, political, social justice movements. So to study Black studies in Chicago is a particularly unique and powerful experience.
I think that this program will be a solid foundation in being the change that we all desperately need to see as it relates to racial injustice and bringing about equity and equality.
I think that when you kind of get to engage and learn about everybody's experience, it brings everyone together, and I think that really helps.
The idea of race structures every aspect of our politics and our social world and culture.
If you're interested in knowing about how to help Black communities and how to help other marginalized communities, I think that this is the program for you.